Wow, look who's here. Robin Thicke, let's go.
Ow!
And you have brought music for us. Congratulations.
Yes, we have new music.
This is so exciting.
It is for me, for sure.
I Know What to Do remix
Yes.
with Dreamdoll, who we
Yeah.
love, by the
Represent
way.
New York City, the Bronx.
Okay, wait, hold up. How did this come about? Why did you choose her to be on the remix?
Well, it's a great story. I don't know. Do you know the record that I did with Lizen earlier this year
Yes.
called Why? So my friend City from Run It Up Records, shout out City. He Lizen was his artist. He reached out to me. Yo, would you consider dropping a verse on this remix for me? I heard the record. I loved it. It was just like good old fashioned R&B 101, like the stuff I grew up on. So I dropped the verse in like an hour. Then I did this drop the mic thing down in Atlanta. It went viral over the weekend, and we ended up with a top 10 hit. But cut to I'm working on the I Know What to Do, and I'm trying to figure out who to use for the remix.
Yeah.
So I gave him the record. He said, I'm gonna see if I can get somebody right for it. And so he just sends me a version with Dreamdoll on it, and she crushed it. So I was like, oh my
Yes.
gosh, Dreamdoll killed it. And then we did a video together, and it's dropping today. Today is the release of the remix and the video.
Okay, wait. So tell me about the video. How did the treatment come about?
Well, actually, great story. I sent the record to Jay-Z over a year ago.
The original, before obviously before the remix.
Before
right?
the remix, I sent Jay-Z and I've never sent him a record unless I really want his A&R, professional opinion. And I said, is this what I think it is? And he said, it's definitely what you think it is. And he sent me a video concept.
Wow. And you didn't ask for
I
it.
didn't ask. He just texted me a video concept. So we tried to make that video concept come to life. Shout out Jay and Rock Nation. And, Dreamdoll, she just has a great energy, great spirit. She's a wonderful young artist, and she killed it.
So you used that treatment for this
Yeah,
video.
we did the best we could to make it come to life, yeah.
This is exciting.
It is.
Do you ever get bored of making music at all? I mean,
No.
you've been in the game for such a long time.
No, it's the center of my universe. I've been doing it since I was 11, 12 years old. I started professionally at 16. This is 30 years now that I've been writing and producing and recording music. So the good thing is that, I went through some tragedies there for a while. I got divorced. I got sued. My father suddenly passed away. My manager suddenly passed away.
Oh, my goodness.
Then my house burned down. Then my beloved mentor, Andre Harrell of Uptown Records, then he passed away. So I had like 6 years in a row of loss and tragedy after tragedy. And so 2 years ago, we went back into the property that had burned down, brand new home. And so I finally was like home again and got settled. And that's when the music started to come again. So these last 2 years, I've been making music and been in a real flow. So I'm really excited. And the album is going to be coming out Valentine's Week 2025.
This is exciting. No name for it yet, right?
I have a name. I don't want to give it away
We
yet.
don't know yet. Okay, so I want to go back to that time period. That was a lot, especially when you're going through difficult moments publicly.
Yeah.
And you even shared that during that time, obviously you're going through a divorce, you were dealing with so much, you were using painkillers.
Well, the painkillers started from actual pain.
Yeah, right, of course. And then it just...
And then you just, you just kind of, you're on a lot of flights, you're doing all these kind of things. But that was 10 years, that was a long time ago for me. And it feels like a lifetime ago, everything that I've been through, everything I've gotten through. And to be honest, this is like a golden era of my life. Everything I dreamed that I wanted as a kid, I have right now. I've got a nice home. I got an amazing partner. I got 4 healthy, happy kids. I got a TV show, The Masked Singer. I got a new album I'm finishing. So I'm sitting at home right now, and I'm just letting the breeze go by, and I'm smelling the flowers, and I'm like, this is really what I always wanted. I have right now.
And you haven't stopped smiling, and I can feel the energy. Now, if you look back at that time, what would you say was the hardest lesson that you learned? And you're thankful for it. Yes, it was hard, but it made you the person you are today.
Yeah, I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I think that it's really just, I think the kids, after I lost my father, I had such a big hole to fill in my life. He was my idol, my hero, my buddy. And so I had 3 kids in 3 years, as I was telling you before we started. And now, when I feel like the reason that I'm at my best now is because I want to be my best for my kids,
Wow.
And so they're the reason that I wake up at 6 o'clock every morning, get them ready for school, take them to school, and then try to be my very best.
I want to talk about your dad. He passed away in 2016. Famous actor. So many of us loved watching him, Alan Thicke. Now, when it comes to being a parent, what did you learn about parenthood from him?
Well, he was just always cool and smooth and fairly easygoing, rarely ever lost his temper. You know, there were a couple times, of course, but he was just...
What did you do? What did you do to upset him?
I got expelled once.
Ooh.
Yeah, he wasn't happy that day, but yeah, I mean, you know, he was just a great man, and everywhere he went, he treated people with kindness and respect, and I think that's, you know, the building blocks of who I am. Is, you know, everywhere I go, everybody is a human being. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect and kindness, and everywhere, every set that I go to, somebody walks up to me and goes, "I worked with your dad. He was the nicest guy, the coolest guy," and that's the kind of legacy I want to leave behind, also.
I feel like you do.
I'm trying.
Truly, and I'm not just saying that.
I had a couple of rough patches, but you know, this business will you know, mess with you sometimes.
It's
but
hard.
You got to get, once you get your head back on straight. You know, it's easy to be grateful that I get to do what I love to do, what I always wanted to do. I get to go up on stage and sing my songs and hear people sing them back, and so I need to be smiling. I should be smiling and be grateful all the time.
You've been on the road. You've been touring with Boys to Men.
Yeah.
Okay,
wait. With the boy. We're all men now. Ain't no boys. Ain't no boys no more.
How's that experience? Has there been anything that you learned about them that you like had no idea about?
Not really. I mean, they're just good guys, you know. And I grew up, you know, studying their heart, like that Jodeci Boys to Men era.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
That was an era.
That was
sure.
That was an R&B 5000 era, and I grew up, you know, love it. I remember when they had like hit after hit with "End of the Road" and "I'll Make Love to You" and "On Bended Knees." I remember thinking to myself, man, I want to have big hits like that someday when I get older, you know. So yeah, the good thing is we're all dads, so we do the shows on the weekends, and then we get to go back during the week and be with our families.
That's so awesome. Yeah. Okay, so you have 4 kids.
I do.
Nice age range. I like this, okay?
Well, my Julian, my 14-year-old, is from my previous marriage to Paula, and then my lady, April, shout out to April for giving me 3 beautiful babies in 3 years. I love you.
That was back to back. What was the hardest part about that experience? Oh
well,
my goodness.
There's so many, I don't even want to get into that, but you know, we both have learned a lot. And now that they all have some kind of preschool or daycare or your kindergarten, whatever it is, at least now there's a period of the day where the house is quiet and I can work and I can focus finally.
Right.
Because I was having trouble even being able to make music or be consistent because the house was just, you know, so crazy. But now that they're a little bit older, it's all smoothed out, and I can take them to school in the morning and get a good 6-7 hours to exercise and make music.
That's so
before
awesome.
They come home and it's daddy, you know, and they're jumping on my lap while I'm trying to do vocals, and you know.
Yeah. Are you still dropping off everybody to school? Are you still?
Yeah. No, I mean, when I'm in town, of course. Yeah. But I love it. I think that I remember, you know, being a kid and loving it when my parents took me to school, which was rare. But I think it's a nice way to get their day started. Daddy, you know, gives them word of encouragement, tells them I love you, have a great day, hugs and kisses, so they feel Dad's love before they even walk into school. You know?
I love
They know
this.
they're protected, they know they're loved, they know they're cared for.
That is one thing we know about you. You are going to show up for your kids. You are
Absolutely.
such a great father.
I love being a dad.
It's amazing. Okay, so how do you feel about your oldest, Julian?
Yeah.
Looks like, you know, he's into singing,
Oh,
right?
he's not only into singing. This kid is a beast. The great thing is that him and we studied music. I like professored him, and he loved it. He would go on his iPad and he would look up the 100 best songs of the 80s, the 100 best songs of the 70s, the 100 best soul songs of the 60s. So he is so knowledgeable about music. He knows so much. And he's got the acting bug from his mom, you know, so he loves to do all the stage plays.
So cool.
And he's got the music bug from Dad, and now he's started writing songs again. And a funny story, recently he wrote a song that I thought was so good. I was like, yo, you know, can I do a version of this? I think it'd be really cool if Dad did a version of his son's song. And he goes, yeah, but that's my song, Dad.
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
Okay, he's a true artiste.
He's already, and honestly, he's working on his debut album right now. Because, you know, I have the studio in the house.
That's right.
So if he has a new song, I'll be like, okay, go down with Proj, my production partner. Shout out to Proj. We've done all the albums together for 20 years. And he'll just go down there and cut with Proj. I try to keep my hands off because I think he really wants to be more supported and celebrated than he does criticized right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just giving him, go do it. If you want my advice, I'm here for you all the time. And so I wait until I think he needs advice.
Yeah.
That way I'm just not bombarding him, telling him how to live his life, you know?
What was the most annoying piece of advice you gave him? And you could tell it was annoying him.
Most annoying piece of advice.
He's like, Dad, stop.
Well, actually, there was something, not me, but recently, because my mom is also a songwriter and singer and recording artist, that recently the song that he wrote didn't have many rhymes in it, which I don't care. I'm an artist. I don't care about rhyming schemes. But my mom was like, you know what, you should try to rhyme more often. And he was getting a little annoyed with my mom telling him to rhyme. But then she pointed out, then they started listening to some of the SZA songs that he loves and the rhyming schemes that she has. And he started to incorporate that more into his new songs. But I do have a funny story.
Yeah.
Well, probably one of the only big hits in the history of music that doesn't rhyme ever in the song is Lost Without You. Tell me how you love me more, that you think I'm sexy, that you don't want nobody else. It never rhymes.
Right.
Lost without you, can't help myself. How does it feel to know that I love you? No rhymes.
But it sounds great.
No rhymes.
That is so amazing. Do you have any concerns, or what would you say is your biggest fear for him? I don't know, exploring the music industry.
Just social media ridicule, but luckily, he already did one little thing and that went viral. His mom posted it, went viral, and there were some negative opinions and some things, and him and I got to talk about it. And the good thing is that he's very strong on the inside, and I think that's what it takes. To be. You got to have thick skin, they say,
right.
but you really got to be strong on the inside.
That part
is
right.
You have to be able to say, I love myself enough, and I love what I do enough that I'm just going to keep on going, and the negative comments I'm not going to let that get in the way, And I think the people that we admire the most, like Rihanna, Rihanna don't give up what anybody talking about.
At all.
I'm doing Rihanna.
Right.
And you got to catch up to me.
Right. Period.
Period. And I think that those type of artists are very inspiring. And I remind him of those kind of artists that just, they don't listen to the noise. They just do greatness.
And, it's so interesting because we've seen you grow up in the industry, right? So you have a different outlook on it.
Yeah.
You're not as concerned about him being in this world.
Well, that's because if you're a family of lawyers, then you can pass down lawyer information. If you're a family of doctors, you pass that down. So we're a family of entertainers. My mom, my dad, my grandfather was a jazz trumpet player. His father was a jazz trumpet player. We had traveling, singing family bands like The Sound of Music in our family. So this is what we do,
Yeah.
And my little daughter, Lola, I already have a theory. She's the wild one in the family. I already have a theory she's the Doja Cat of the family.
No,
I don't know.
that's
She's
so
the wild
sweet.
one. Yeah, Lola, she's the rebel. She's going to do whatever she wants.
I love it. Isn't that something that you're so proud of? Like that's what I hope and pray for with our daughter. I want you happy, healthy, and do whatever you want.
Happy, doing what you love to do, surrounding
right.
yourself with good people. And I had some therapy sessions, with co-parenting and things like that. And I learned something very valuable about the most important thing you can teach your kids is to make good decisions, because we are not going to be there all the time when they need to make a good decision. And that's what you really want to impart upon them is quality decision making throughout their whole life.
How do we do that?
Just be there. Be aware and pay attention. They're going to struggle with things. They're going to have weaknesses at times. They're going to have their strengths and their weaknesses. So anytime I see something going in the wrong direction, I focus, I pinpoint it, and I go, okay, this needs to be loved, focused, supported, moved a little bit, maneuvered, because they are going to struggle with things, and it's our job. I also, it's like a lot of times parents will go, I don't know what your problem is. I don't know why you're acting like that. I don't know. But, it starts with the parents, and if you're blaming the kids for the way they are instead of figuring out how to adjust who they are. So I just really I always take the blame. I always go, no, I need to do something first. My son's having trouble reading at school. I'm going to read with him. If my daughter's having trouble with this, I'm going to do it with her. And that way it won't be her fault. It's got to be on my shoulders, especially at this young age.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm going to take that piece of advice.
Yeah, take it on yourself. You know what I mean? And say, if they're acting like this, then I need to adjust what I'm doing.
That's right.
And then they'll adjust what they're doing. And it usually works.
What would you say has been the key to you and Paula successfully co-parenting?
Just being good people. When we went through that time, it was, there's so many emotions involved in a breakup. And we were together since we were 16 years old, so I think we just had too many things going on that didn't have to do with the kid that first period of time. But we're both good people. We're both good parents. She's the most devoted mother, and so he's a product of all of that love and support.
Isn't that beautiful?
And you can see it in him. He's a very confident, happy young man.
Yeah. What would you say? What would Julian say if I asked him right now? What's the biggest pet peeve that your dad has?
Oh, probably smoking.
Dad, stop smoking.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. But no, but besides that, we have a great friendship, great relationship, and he knows that his dad's got his back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, you've been planning the wedding, you and your fiance,
correct?
correct?
We actually just started planning, and we still haven't found a location. We're struggling. We're trying to figure all that out. It's a little hectic, but we're excited, and it's very romantic. She's, in wedding mode.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that right now it's like a golden time, because she's very happy. She's excited about throwing a wedding, and the kids are doing well, and I have time to write. So everything's going well.
You're not being a groomzilla or anything?
No. I'm definitely going to let her, make most of the decisions. Absolutely.
You're not going to decide anything?
No, I mean, I'll help. And she appreciates my opinions, but
right.
she knows what she wants. Yeah. She's a Sagittarius. She knows exactly what she wants.
Okay, so what would you do if your fiance was like, I love you and everything, but there's one of your friends, one of your best friends, I don't want to have at the wedding. What do you do in that situation?
Luckily, I don't have that situation. But if I did, we would have to talk about it, or I would have to find a table far in the corner. And figure it out. But it's probably going to be more of a family member than it will be a friend, to be honest.
It's always the family member.
It's always an uncle or a cousin. You know
Somebody
what I mean?
messing it up.
That throws up a little early at the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I told you he was going to do something like that.
Oh, I can't. And it never fails.
But it's funny. I actually did have a friend like that, a very close friend who ended up just being a problem a few times, and so he definitely will not be invited. And you know who you are.
And don't take it personal.
And you know what you said in the middle of the street at that wedding that night when you was on one.
Right, and that's it.
And you are not invited.
You were banned.
You are definitely banned.
Okay, so I want your thoughts on this. The singer Jon B was doing an interview, and he said your song, the one that you actually referenced to, you and Listen, for Y Remix, that the guitar from that was from his song "They Don't Know." I
wouldn't know. I don't know what song that is. But I mean, that kind of stuff happens all the time. But he's gonna have to call the person who wrote that. Right.
What would you say has been the best part about being in the industry? Seeing other people grow, and
what's actually really nice right now is, after being in it for so long, then being gone for a little bit and coming back and seeing your face and going to all these places and feeling love, feeling genuine, like, hey, we like you, we like your music, we've had time with your music and we have experiences with your music that made us feel good. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like right now I'm on like a flowers tour or something, you know what I mean? Like, I'm getting a lot of love and appreciation. There's no negativity, because it's not like what it was 10 years ago, clouded by all these other divorce and sued and blah, blah, blah. And right now it's just a really nice flow, and everywhere I go it's smiles, it's love, it's legend, flowers, those kind of compliments. And so I'm on like an appreciation tour right now.
And you know what? I know a lot of us love your music and we look at you as a singer, but you're also a songwriter. You know, laundry list of people that you have worked with, like Michael Jackson. Yeah. What would you say is your favorite memory writing for someone?
Writing for someone? Well, there's a few. Definitely Usher, because he's, one of my best boys. And when we did Can You Handle It for the Confessions album, that was and .com, which was a bonus track. And just because I just love him, and he's just such a great guy. Mary J, being in a session and recording vocals for Mary J, because she's everything to me. And her albums, when I was a young teenager, those first couple albums of hers were just incredible. And that's why I was so excited to work with Andre Harrell when I met him, because I was like, you're Mary J. Blige, you're Jodeci, you're the man.
The legends.
The legends.
Sure.
And then also, I have to say, doing a session with Jay-Z, recording Jay-Z vocals on a record is pretty amazing. But I have, it's so funny because I forget about how many collaborations and records I've done, like with A$AP or Kendrick. I mean, the list goes
Long
on.
list. Like when I say laundry list, I really, really mean that for sure.
Absolutely.
And you know what? You also wrote on Christina Aguilera's debut album.
I did, yeah.
And she just celebrated the 25-year anniversary of its release.
That's right.
Okay, wait. Now, when that happened, did you realize at that point, like, this person's going to be a star?
Oh, yeah. We thought she was going to be a star with that voice. And Britney had just hit, and we were working on Christina's album. And I remember Christina would talk about Britney sometimes, and, you know, because the healthy competitive spirit. But we were just like, this little girl can sing. And there's only one Christina Aguilera. There's only one voice like that. So, yeah, we kind of had a feeling she was going to blow. Yeah. And you know what? I got so lucky as a writer and producer. Before I ever released an album, I got so lucky. I always had a song on the artist's biggest album. The song that I had with Usher, his biggest album. The song I did for Mark Anthony, his biggest selling album.
Wow.
The song I did for Christina, her biggest selling album. I was so lucky that the first 10 or 12 records I made were all platinum albums.
What a blessing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was crazy.
And you even wrote for Brandy. I love this
When
story.
I was 16.
And she was 14.
Yeah. And I remember recording her vocals. And I thought also, we all thought she was going to be a big star, too. Her voice was so incredible, and she was so young and so talented. But we all kind of knew she was going to blow up.
And that was your first song
that was my first
you
cut,
produced.
period, with Damon Thomas, who was Kim Kardashian's first husband.
This is crazy right now. So what is it that you notice when you're working with somebody that you're just like, that's it? They're going to be X, Y, Z.
Well, you know, not everybody has that type of raw talent. You know what I mean? There'll be singing groups come in, and somebody's got a good voice, the others are okay. There'll be this, you know, but when you're talking about a voice like Christina's or Brandy's or, you know, even Angie Stone, when Angie Stone came up and we worked together, her writing ability, you know, she wrote most of the first D'Angelo album with D'Angelo. So, you know, when you're around that kind of talent, and I got to work with like Raphael Sadiq when I was 17.
Wow.
I got to work with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis when I was 18. So I was going to university and getting to be in the room with the greatest producers and writers in the business, you know.
Wow.
So by the time I was 21, I had my degree.
You were ready to go.
I was ready.
Okay, so what would you say is the best and the hardest part of being a judge on the show The Masked Singer?
Well, the best thing is the people I get to work with. Dr. Ken has become one of my very best friends in the world. Nick Cannon actually co-signed me to get the job because Nick and I had worked on Real Husbands of Hollywood together.
That's right.
And so when Nick was already going to be the host of The Masked Singer, and I think they either asked him about Robin Thicke or he mentioned Robin Thicke, but whatever it was, he gave me the seal of approval. He was like, Robin's the best. You guys are going to love him.
That's right.
I came in for the meeting, had a great meeting, got the job. But I was still a little nervous. I was like, what if this show is a complete flop and we all look so stupid up there, these costumes, and what is it going to be? And it ended up being such a smash. T-Pain being the winner at the end of the first season gave us such street cred. Do you know what I mean? That I was just like, oh, this. And I remember getting home from the finale and sitting there and having a glass of wine and thinking of my dad. And I was like, man, my dad would have loved this show because he had just passed away a year earlier. And I was like, he would have loved The Masked Singer. Yeah, I know it.
Was there, who surprised you the most?
Well, T-Pain surprised me the most. And Lil Wayne, I'm still mad that I never guessed that I did not, because I've done 7 records with Lil Wayne.
And you didn't get
how
it.
did I not hear his voice and know he was the robot? But yeah, I mean, it's just been such a blessing to my family. You know, we only do the show for like 2 months out of the year, and we do a full season in a month. Well, because you know you have to think of all the other celebrities; their time is very valuable. So you're not going to be able to get Toni Braxton for more than a few days here and a few days there. So they condense it all down and make the shooting schedule very easy for us. So it's just, I do 25, 30 seasons. I'll do that show for as long as they want.
I love that they are very mindful of the schedule. I was going to say, I thought that would have been the hardest part of doing the show.
You think, but it's literally, the filming takes about a month.
Right.
And then I get the other 10 months of the year, you know, to make music and be with my family, and travel.
That is amazing. Well, how does everyone keep it a secret? Like, there's no leaks?
They completely separate. No, it's legit. There's 2 different buildings.
Damn. Okay.
The Nick and us and the panel are in one building, and the celebs or the contestants are in a whole other area. So we don't see anyone until they walk out on stage in a costume. We don't see any of them.
God. Okay. Yeah. I was just so curious how nobody knows.
No, it's legit. It's legit. And that's why sometimes when I think I'm 100% sure, it's Weird Al Yankovic. I know it. And then it's not, you know? So sometimes we are very fooled.
Who else do you want to work with at this point?
SZA. for sure.
Wait,
She's my favorite. She's
What?
my favorite. She inspires me.
Wow.
Yeah, she inspires me.
Do you remember the moment that you were inspired? Was there something that you heard and you're just like, wow, this is...
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been a few, I mean, Good Days is just insane. And
Right.
then when she did I Hate You,
Yeah.
is that what it's called? I Hate You, right?
Yeah.
When she did that record, I was just like, oh my God, this woman is out of her mind. She's so incredibly talented. But I think the reason I connect with her so much is just because, like me, she really bears her soul. You know, she really shares her life. She shares her insecurities. She shares her vulnerability. She tells us that she's scared, that she's afraid, and that she's strong.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I get everything that that life is about. I get it from her music, and that's what I try to put into my music.
That is so awesome to me right now. And you know what? It's funny that you mentioned SZA's name when you were talking about Julian and what he likes to listen to.
Oh, that's his favorite artist.
I was going to say.
He has her poster. He has a signed tour poster on his wall above his bed. Yeah.
Okay, so he probably thinks the world of SZA doesn't really care about Dad and his, accolades.
But he's real with me. Like when he heard some of the new album, he's like, Dad, that's dope. You know, like he'll tell me which ones he likes and which ones he thinks are okay. And I value his opinion because, like I said, he has incredible taste in music because he studied music. We studied music together. You know,
that is so cool.
Yeah, because I did the same thing when I was a kid. I would like dive into an artist catalog and listen to the whole catalog. And really immerse myself, whether it was Stevie Wonder, the Beatles, or Sting and the Police, or Led Zeppelin. Like when I would study, I would really get all the way into their catalogs and make sure I knew as much as I could about music.
Who are your favorite artists? Who are your top 5?
Well, I'm an old soul head. You know, of course, there's Aretha and Whitney, and on the female tip, Nina Simone, Mary J. Blige. But on the male tip, Otis Redding, Bill Withers, Al Green, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Prince. Because of course, Prince with the falsetto. My falsetto is I probably. By learning every Prince song and being able to hit every Prince note, is how I got my falsetto. Oh, I have a good story too. I was in One Oak one night, and Prince and I are at the same table, and he just looks kind of unhappy. He's just kind of sitting there, looked kind of bored, and I was like, what's wrong with Prince tonight? He don't look happy. I said, hey, go give me the mic and put Kiss on. So they bring me the mic, and I'm 5 feet away from him, and I just start singing, you don't have to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And I sing, and I look over, and he like kind of turns to the lady like that's with him, and he goes, "Who's that singing?" And she goes, "It's Robin right there. He's singing right there." And he looks at me and he goes, and he makes like a little, okay, you want to sing my song? Okay.
I love
and
this.
I just sang the whole song right next to him.
That's a moment.
It was great. Yeah.
That's incredible.
It was great. Yeah.
Oh, I love this for you. I'm so happy to see you in such a loving, joyful, just time of your life. You deserve all of this. I know you have a lot of titles. To me, I think being a father is the most important title, right?
Yeah. Well, my two most important things in my life are music and family.
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
How do you want your kids to remember you?
Fun, loving, and always has my back. I want them to know Dad's always got your back. You can always come home.
Oh, I love this right now.
I know my sweet daughter, she's like, Dad, I'm never moving out the house. I'm always going to live here.
Oh, I hope. And you're like, I wish that was the case. But,
it's better than them going, I can't wait to get out of here. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, you want to create a home that they know is their home and it will be forever,
I love this.
That's the feeling you want.
I love seeing you. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations again on, just continuing this beautiful legacy of yours, right? And being vulnerable in front of the entire world and really always getting back up and showing up and, making it happen and not just, inspiring so many people, but also just showing that you could do both. You could be a father. You can also have your career and you can face hard times and get through it.
Yeah. And, I have this theory where I used to wake up and say, please, God, help me get through the day. Please give me the strength to get through these tough times. And I made a switch recently where now I only say thank you. I never ask God for anything. I only say, thank you, God, for this day. Thank you for what's about to happen. Thank you for the air in my lungs and everything I already have. And I think that if you are in a zone of gratitude, then more blessings come to you because you realize you already kind of have everything you need. God's already given it to us. We just have to execute,
I love that. So many gems today I'm going to use. I'm going to call Colin now and be like, okay, so this is what we need to do as parent life. But again, thank you so much for making time, stopping by. Congratulations.
And you are glowing. You
you.
have never looked more beautiful. Shout out to my boy Colin.
Yeah.
for
and
keeping your woman so happy.
Yes. And, toddler life is exhausting for us, but we're going to get through it.
It's rewarding.
Thank you for the gems.
Yeah.
And please come by, especially when the album drops.
Yes, we're going to come back, end of January, top of February to promote the album for sure.
We'll be waiting.
Great.
We have gifts for you. Colin and I release our first children's book together. So now you can read to the kiddos.
That is so cute.
Yeah, so we are for you and me, and that's Colin's first children's book, and that Colin wanted you to have as well. But for the kids,
I love that. I will definitely read this.
Yes,
to the kids
please.
When I get back. Yeah, I read it to them every night. That's awesome.
So it's really sweet, and parents got to stick together, man.
Oh man,
I was
parents
like,
got to stick together.